We're rolling. How's it going, Paul?
Mate,
I'm very well, thanks. How are you guys?
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. Brooksy, you're about to take us away. Why don't you do it?
you've got some fantastic gear in the background there, and I imagine some of it's going to go on tour with you very, very shortly.
A
How are you feeling
little
about it all?
bit mental in here.
Oh wow!
Yeah, well, actually, the good thing about this tour is that none of this gear is coming with me. It's just all I bring with me for this tour is an acoustic guitar. So it makes it very stripped back and simple.
Yeah, we it's funny. We spoke to Jarrett from Bowling for Soup on a tangent about a week ago, and he broke the record for the most amount of guitars ever in the background of an interview. I think he had 14. And you've obliterated the record. I would say I can see what one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, maybe nine synthesizers there.
And then there's that one back there, and there's these guys
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
and
Oh,
this.
and more, of course. Oh, yeah, yeah. Nice. Yeah.
A bit of a spaceship in here, but yeah.
Are you secretly one of the guys in Daft Punk? Is that what's going on here?
I wish. No, when I was working on the Fanning Dempsey National Park album with Bernard, we went down quite a synthesizer rabbit hole, and that's what you can see around me right now is the all the synths I've acquired over the last few years.
You can't possibly expect me to believe that you bought all those synthesizers just for Fanning Dempsey National Park. You had to have had some of this stuff lying around doing other dance or electronic related musical projects that we don't know about.
I did have a few of them around, but no, I have actually gone a bit ballistic in the last sort of 3, 4 years. I've been literally, selling guitars and other bits of gear to buy synths. So, but it's exciting, I mean, I've been playing musical instruments since I was a little kid, and predominantly guitar, and drums and piano as well. But I don't know, just sort of discovering the how deep you can go into this whole synthesizer. It's like discovering the guitar all over again for me. Just learning about how all these different instruments work. It's been super fun.
Well, you're patching your own stuff there as well, I can see. So that's like there's synthesizers, there's obviously like MIDI control and all that stuff, and then there's patching and using cables that go into other holes, and you can fall into a bit of a. I mean, I'm telling you, they're the one with the synthesizer behind you there. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the traps that you can fall into, going, oh, LFO plus this plus that plus. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so excited for what's been going on in the background. I'm sorry to derail this entire thing off the rip. I mean, obviously we did talk about Shotgun Karaoke, but I never expected to see this in the background, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. No worries. Well, let's move on.
Well, it appears that Shotgun Karaoke Volume 3 might have a bit more of a dance vibe to it.
Yes. Um, yeah, no, luckily the shotgun karaoke thing is sort of it's kept under control by some pretty tight parameters, which is that it's just my voice and guitar. It's just all the covers I do are just completely acoustic guitar and vocal, completely live, no no bells and whistles. It's half the exercise is just about how well can you translate a song, and sometimes they're very complicated songs, but how well can you translate them with just those two simple elements? And that's really what's fun about it.
Yeah, do you find the enjoyment coming from, I mean, I'm sure there's probably different bits and pieces, but do you find that it's more fun to take a song that has a million different layers and strip it back to just the voice and guitar, or do you enjoy kind of putting your own Paul Dempsey vocalification on top of something that was already a pretty simple song sort of thing?
Yeah, look, it's a bit of both. It really, the decision, first of all, is just, it has to be a song that I just love, honestly, I cover a few recent contemporary things, but most of these songs are things that have been in my life since I was a kid. Some of them are, songs from decades and decades ago, but they've just been favorites of mine forever. So, That's kind of the first thing is that I just have to have a genuine love for the song. But yeah, then I don't worry so much about the actual playing of it unless I have to. So, for instance, a song like "Losing My Religion." Um, that song doesn't, it needs, there's certain things about it that it needs. It has to have that little mandolin melody part. It has to have that driving acoustic. There's things the bass guitar is doing that are really important to the melody. So with a song like that, I had to figure out a way to, cover bits of the bass line, bits of the rhythm guitar and the mandolin melody just all with one guitar. So that becomes a bit of a puzzle. But it's really fun when to begin with, I'm not sure if I can do it. I don't know if it's going to work. And then when I did figure out a way to cover all that stuff, then it was like, yeah, well, that sounds pretty good. It sounds like it has enough of the vital ingredients from the original that it's gonna do it some kind of justice.
There any songs that you really wanted to cover and tried but just couldn't really make it onto the album?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to cover "Love Is a Battlefield" by Pat Benatar. I love that song so much, but again, because of my dumb rules, I because the other dumb rule is that it has to be in the original key. I won't
Oh,
change the key. I won't lower the key or whatever to
yeah,
make
just
it
octave
give
down
me.
or up. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I won't do it. I feel like I don't know. For me, like once I've heard a song, it's just that's where it exists in my brain, and moving the scale or the key it just feels wrong to me. So yeah, that's my other rule is every cover I do is in the original key, and I just can't sing that high. Love is a battlefield. I just can't hit those notes. So. I just sort of skip it. I could lower the key and move it to a range that suits me, but it just doesn't feel right.
I'm kind of annoyed now. I mean, I want to hear it. It's such a perfect Paul Dempsey like crossover song. Like just hearing, I can already hear it in my head.
Yeah, I mean, it's got all that, kind of grit and emotion and, that percussive driving kind of thing about it. I love it so much. It's just such a great song, but it's just one of those ones. There's a bunch like that unfortunately they're not to be.
Would you ever consider using effects, or is the whole point of this project to just be like just guitar, just voice, no like looping or sort of anything like that? It's like it just bare bones, full stop.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is. I don't much see the point in doing a cover if it's sort of just a reproduction and if you're going to just have all the instruments and all the parts that were on the
Mm.
original. I mean, what's the point? The original already exists. I guess the thing that makes this interesting for me and fun for me is that there's a bit of like a musical challenge element. Can you do it with literally just a guitar and voice live take? Can you do it? And like, A, can you even pull it off? And B, is it any good? And if you can do those, if you think that you can do those two things, then the bonus is that hopefully you've you've first of all paid tribute to a song that you think is fantastic. You've hopefully lots of people out there love this song as well, and but I think the main thing is that hopefully they get to hear it in a different way, in an unexpected way. I don't know if people ever thought they'd hear, If I Could Turn Back Time by Cher or like Against All Odds by Phil Collins. Like these are songs that have like massive 80s production. So doing them in this absolute bare bones way is kind of half the point, is to make it interesting and to hopefully illustrate for people just how like these songs are so well written and they're so just great that they stand up to that sort of brutalist treatment that I'm giving them, you know.
Bludgeoning them.
Exactly. I mean, I am literally making these things as stark and bare and naked as they can possibly be.
Mm,
And that to me is what's interesting about it. Because if you can do that to a song and it's still awesome
yeah,
and people still kind of go, yeah, I love that song, then that's not just kind of paying tribute to the song. It's also like, you know, like providing some sort of like forensic evidence for how well written it is.
for sure. For sure.
Well, you've named some of the big songs you've covered, but there's other tracks on Volume 2 as well, like Dog Eared, that maybe not necessarily everyone does know in the same way as, Cher or Phil Collins or, The Boys of Summer, Don Henley Gear.
Yeah.
What's the process like approaching someone like Carla to say, hey, I'd love to cover your song?
Yeah, well, I guess that is another thing I've tried to do with, both of these. There's, two Shotgun Karaoke albums now, and in both cases, I've also tried to include, there's like big classic sort of banger type hits that everybody knows, but I've also always tried to include a few things that probably people don't know, or maybe a lot of my audience might not know. So, and again, I also try and include something that's a bit more contemporary. And Carla is just one of my favorite current Australian songwriters. I love that song, Dog Eared. The first time I heard it, I was just like, who is this? This is phenomenal. So, I wanted to do that song again, just firstly because I love it, and second of all because, yeah, hopefully, if it helps some people, find out about Carla and how amazing she is, then that's great as well. Um, and there's also, there's other kind of obscurities. I mean, I cover a song by one of my favorite bands, Bright Eyes, who are like a really well-known band, but maybe not so much to my audience here. And I think on the first album, I covered like, you know, Arches of Loaf and, like old kind of underground American indie stuff that maybe people haven't heard in a long time. But so, yeah, I try and keep it broad. And I also just think it's fun to have, like a Don Henley song sitting next to a Superchunk song on a covers record. Like that's just stupid.
Yeah. Hey, that's the beauty of shotgun karaoke. Have you got you got like a phone notes on your phone or something that's like over the course of the of time you hear a song and you're like, yeah, hey, see if it works.
That's exactly correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like walking around the supermarket and I hear, some song I haven't heard for 30 years or whatever, and it's like, oh yeah, I gotta give that a crack.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's usually the best way to do it. And if you don't write it down, it just goes right out of your brain. And I mean, we've had to wait 12 years in between editions of Shotgun Karaoke as well. Is that a purposeful thing? Do you feel like you wanted to space it out with all your other individual original projects, or is it just sort of just naturally finds its way back again?
Yeah, well, I mean, first and foremost, I'm a songwriter myself, and
Yep.
I obviously Something for Kate have put out a couple of albums in that time, and I've put out a solo album in that time and a Fanning Dempsey National Park album, and so primarily I like to keep busy writing my own songs and performing my own music, but um, sometimes this is like a what's the word like a pressure valve. It's nice sometimes. I have been so busy the last few years with the Fanning Dempsey National Park project, and we're working on a Something for Kate record right now. So going out and doing these shows is just a nice way to, take some pressure off when I'm in the middle of my own writing. But yeah, so like 12 years or whatever it was between records. Yeah, I'm not like trying to keep up or maintain some career as like a covers guy. So I'm not, I wasn't in any like rush to do this. It just seemed like a good time after finishing off the Fanning Dempsey National Park. In between that and a new Something for Kate record, it just seemed like a good time to bash out that list on my iPhone that was getting longer and longer.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I don't think anybody's ever going to confuse Paul Dempsey with cover musician, the prolific catalog of your original work, like you said, in between the bands and your solo stuff. And I mean, who knows what musical projects are on the horizon? I mean, it must just serve like a refresher, as you say, and probably even, giving some inspiration for, the writing process of the new stuff coming up, because of course you can learn so much from stripping these songs back, and it might give you like that extra spark on the, or like, trying to finish something in the future. You go, oh man, I'll try this approach from a song I just covered.
Yeah, that's really true. It definitely, getting inside other people's songs and kind of working out what makes them, function, what the kind of nuts and bolts are. It's the best way to learn about songwriting. And it doesn't mean you then go away and just, emulate what those other people have done, but it just it's just very illuminating to kind of go, wow, never would have expected this thing to happen, or geez, that chord is weird. You hear it and it doesn't sound weird, but then when you go to figure out how to play it, you're like, actually, that's really odd. And so that's all really interesting. And that's pretty much how I've never had any lessons on any instruments. So, I taught myself guitar and bass and drums by just trying to learn how to play every note on Iron Maiden's Live After Death. Um, and I
Great
just
place to
did,
start.
yeah, and I just kind of played along with that and kept pressing stop, rewind, play, just to try and work out every part. And, that's how I've learnt all about music, is just trying to figure out how to play my favorite records. So this, in a lot of ways, just feels like an extension of that.
I'm fully expecting an Iron Maiden cover on Volume 3 as well, on the dance cover, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, I,
Dead
I
time, mate.
did. I did cover Aces High. It's not on any of the releases, but when this whole shotgun karaoke idea first came about, Something for Kate was on tour, and this whole thing began because Clint and Steph would challenge me every evening after sound check. They would say, "All right, you got to cover this," and they'd give me like 5 minutes to figure it out, and then they'd film me doing it with an iPhone, and we'd put it up on YouTube. So all the original sort of shotgun karaoke things are these very rough and ready cover versions filmed on an iPhone, and they're all up on YouTube. And Aces High is up there.
Aha.
Wow.
In the vault.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, look, you're about to make your way around the country playing so many shows. Is there anywhere in particular that you either haven't played before or somewhere that you're really keen to go back to again?
I've never played a solo show in Port Macquarie, so I'm looking forward to that. But look, no, I'm looking forward to all the shows. I love playing live, and this set is very loose, and I change it on the fly. I kind of take requests, and so every show is a really different. You don't know what's going to happen, but I am looking forward to coming back to Hodder on Gold Coast.
Mm.
Played there last year with Fanning Dempsey National Park, and it's a fantastic venue. So I'm excited for that one. And I'm a former Gold Coast boy uh, myself, so
I see.
it's always nice. I lived in Palm Beach as a teenager.
Hey,
Uh,
it's I wouldn't have guessed it based on the color of your hair. I thought it'd be blonde and and wavy. So you went to school there as well. You go to PBC?
no, I went to Marymount
Ah, I
for a
see.
few years in Burleigh Heads.
Yeah, yeah.
I've still got a few mates up there from that time, and I love going back.
Yeah, man. Oh, it's going to be great to have you here. Hotter, of course. Yeah, like you said, it's going to be a fantastic venue. A little bit colder than it is right now. It's starting to chill out here on the coast, so you'll have to bring a jacket. I'm sure you're prepared for it. But yeah, massive tour, like you said, going around Australia kicks off real soon, 1st of May. So not much longer to go.
Next week.
Yeah, crazy times.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, look, Paul, we can't wait to see you. It's going to be fan-bloody-tastic. Like you said, you're taking requests as well, which is for somebody who's, been to shows on the Gold Coast, it's a brave thing to say because I know what the crowds can be like here. So strap yourselves in for that. Maybe there'll
Yeah.
be me in a wig and a disguise yelling out Iron Maiden on the night. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I welcome requests.
Mm.
I don't. I will do my best to oblige, but you know, we'll
It
see.
always helps. Yeah, if you buy a shirt, you get to make a request. That's usually how it works.
Yes,
Yeah.
cool.
Tickets available at pauldempseymusic.com. Go and catch him. He's going to be playing around the place wherever you are. Go and find it. Kicks off, like you said, next week, Friday, 1st of May, making his way around the country, finishing off in August at Hoey Moe in Coffs Harbour, of all places. And can't wait to see it. It's going to be an absolute ripper of a tour. And can't wait to see what the future is going to be like for you as well. Of course, with the keyboards, the Fanning Dempsey stuff, something for Kate. I mean, you name it, you're doing it. Thanks so much, Paul.
Thanks for having me, guys. Cheers.
Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Have a good one. See ya.